They get you stuck in straight away. They get you on like your own personal experience, try and get to know you a bit better, personalise the experience.
Good customer of mine. She's in Lexus now, but she's now on her 24th car out of the brand.
Wow.
I think my long-term goal would be to work in motorsport.
I was headed back from work once. There was a road a little bit like this, and I actually got overtaken by a hearse.
Hi, my name's Harry, and I'm on a journey around the UK with Toyota and Lexus to find out all about what it means to work for both brands. Join me as I stop off in Swansea, then Croydon, and then to Norwich, up to Leeds, and finally to Stirling. Along the way, I'm going to be chatting to a huge number of employees all about their careers and what it means to them to work for both Toyota and Lexus.
I'm on my way down to Norwich in this amazing GR Yaris to talk to people about the Toyota Academy and Curiosity. But I'm not alone. I'm here today with Harry, who is a customer consultant for Toyota, and I'm really excited to learn what he's got to teach me about his job. So Harry, can you tell me a bit more about what a car consultant does?
So the customer consultant plan with Toyota and Lexus mainly is designed to combine the tasks of service and sales into one role. So a lot of that comes down to customers coming in, rather than dealing with two different departments, can deal with one person. So whether they've got a simple inquiry about parts, or whether it comes down to buying a new car or bringing a vehicle in for any service requirements they might have, they can just thoroughly speak to one person.
Great, so you're like the first port of call for someone coming through the door. Yeah. And is this something that, you know, was always on your radar? But I mean, what has kind of been your, you know, I guess your career up until now? Can you give me sort of a snapshot of what you've been up to?
Well, I mean, I used to be a technician for a couple of years. I moved to the UK during that, and then from there decided to go more predominantly into sales. I worked for a different company doing sales for about a year, and then had the opportunity to come to Toyota to do the consultant program. So from day one, the job offer was you're going to be part of the trainee customer consultant scheme, and it interests me. From there as well, having a technical background, being able to work in the service department as well as sales, I do think just sort of complements what I'm able to do quite well.
Yeah, and so you were already like a bit technical minded with the, you know, that side of things before going into the job.
Yeah.
And then you found that it was quite natural to get into that.
Yeah.
And as I'm told throughout this road trip, starting off with Toyota, you go to the academy. So can you tell me about what the academy was like for you when you got there, and kind of what you went through?
Well, funnily enough, on my actual second day working for Toyota, it was a trip down to Burheath to go and see the head office down there. Yeah. So spent a day talking about what the actual program's going to contain, how that might relate to your job role in your centres. Me and about 20 different people were there, and we were all quite fresh to the job. And then going on through there, I spent about 1.5 to 2 years in constant contact with the academy. So there was bookwork to do, video check-ins as well. So every sort of 2-3 months, we might have a couple of days session talking with some trainers about how we're getting on, if there's anything they can do to help. Going forward, what Toyota's plan, and just sort of reinstating what that might mean going forward as well. And but yeah, constant contact for quite a while. A lot of it was just making a log of customer experiences that we've had, something that might have interested us, or just things that have happened in day-to-day life at our individual centres, and then all sort of coming together and talking through that and seeing how it might vary from centre to centre, because obviously we're all franchises and different companies. And but yeah, once graduation happened, it is just going into the occasional, every 4 or 5 months, going up to Burniston Training Centre and speaking about different things. So in November, I did the electrification course, talking about Toyota and Lexus plans going forward on the electric vehicles, and there'll be more to come. I mean, I'll probably due for one in about 2-3 months.
So obviously it sounds like they get you stuck in straight away. They get you on like your own personal experience, try and get to know you a bit better, personalise the experience. What was your favourite bits?
Well, the first sort of call-in we had, they wanted us to trial out a few things, so whether that be for the sales or the service department, we had to do things for both. So we were given scenarios, for example, calling up a customer just to tell them that they have a recall on their vehicle and leave them a voicemail, and we've sort of scored on how we explain things. Obviously you don't want to go into too much detail on a voicemail, because no one wants to sit and listen to a 2-minute voicemail. And then tying into that as well, the video walkarounds for customers in terms of sales. So that's one thing we're quite big on in our centre. Whenever anyone's inquiring about a vehicle, unless they're in the showroom with you, then you just take them out to the car.
Yeah, of course.
But if they've phoned up or they've put an email inquiry in, just go out and find the car and show them around different aspects of the vehicle through the video. With that as well, some customers might say, oh, you know, I've got a couple of dogs, can you just show me the boot space so I can know whether to come in or not? Because if it's too small a boot, then that sort of rules that out for me. Yeah, and you're able to sort of cut to the chase and give as much information about a car as you can, but in quite a personalised way. I was heading back from work once, and it was quite late, so the roads were sort of relatively empty, and there was a road a little bit like this, one lane forward, one lane the other way, and I actually got overtaken by a hearse. I don't think I'll ever forget that.
How has that been for you, and learning about the values and the fact that curiosity is a big part of that? Are you naturally curious as well?
Yeah, I'd definitely say I'm a curious person. A lot of people that come in, maybe they've never had a hybrid vehicle before, or they don't know much about hybrid. Obviously, throughout our lineup, most of the cars are hybrid, and that is the option that you have. Particularly Lexus, apart from a one electric or two electric vehicles, it is just hybrid lineups. People might come in and say, oh, you know, do I need to plug the vehicle in, or I can't be doing with that, so on and so forth. What's the reliability of the battery like? It is quite easy to then talk about the fact that if you service your vehicle properly, and you can obviously keep up the mechanical warranty for 10 years and the hybrid battery warranty for up to 15 years, and then through there we don't really have any problems with them. But another factor as well, bearing in mind the car that we're in, the GR Yaris, it's one of the only cars on the market right now, a Halo vehicle, that's actually built for purpose. So it's not just a Yaris that's been pulled off a production line and had a bigger engine in it. The only real thing this shares between the normal road Yaris is the name.
Yeah, it's a completely different car.
Yeah, when you compare it to other manufacturers, it is kind of unique right now in this sort of market.
No, I think it's also, you know, something with Toyota that I've realised throughout the entirety of this road trip is that you guys are constantly innovating.
Yeah.
And something, whether it be through training or whether it be through the cars that are on the road, it does seem like you're constantly looked after. Yeah,
well, I mean, on the topic of innovation as well, if you go back to when the Prius was first launched, I mean, that hit the roads internationally in 1997, and obviously we're just coming into 2025 now. We've been doing that for so long. We've been doing it far longer than any other manufacturer. And then going forward as well with Toyota safety systems, the Gazoo racing platform, it is all about looking to the future and seeing what they can offer. But there are passion projects among that as well, like this and the GR86, which recently just came into the UK as well.
I mean, Harry, on the topic of curiosity, what does that mean to you?
Curiosity to me, I'd tie it in with innovation, especially with Toyota. So hybrid history over the years, the racing platforms they've used going through from 70s, 80s till now as well with the GR platforms, they are just always looking to do something a little bit different. So starting with hybrids, at the time a lot of people would have thought that's a bit of a strange idea to use that in a vehicle, but then, you know, look at today, look how many hybrids, millions of hybrids they've sold worldwide, and then performance platforms as well. And then if you look at things like the Hilux, how that's been a Halo vehicle worldwide for so long now, the reputation it has, the new Land Cruiser as well, they're not just building your everyday road cars, they do a lot of road vehicles for everyday use, and you mix that in with passion projects as well. So the GR Yaris that we're in currently, the GR86 that's been brought out in the last few years, and then multiple vehicles throughout the years as well, MR2s, the original Supras. With that as well, if you look at the cockpit of the GR Yaris we're in today, it is a very cockpit driver-oriented design, and that's taken from the Toyota designs of the 90s.
Yeah, I guess it's always not being afraid to try something new, not being, you know, also wondering about, you know, if a car had 5 wheels instead of 4, but, you know, trying stuff like that, or like I say, actually, you know, it's a car for multiple people, but angling everything to one person because they have the most impact.
Yeah, they've never been afraid to try something new, and obviously they've got a lot of development behind them and a lot of money behind them to look into what the market might look like in several years' time and try and release and start building vehicles well ahead of time to meet people's demands. So far, that seems to have been quite successful.
Yeah, and I guess when it comes to a job at Toyota, that's great for you guys as well.
Yeah.
It bleeds down.
Yeah, massively. I mean, in the sales aspect of Toyota, when it comes to people coming in to look at a vehicle, they kind of do sell themselves. I'll always ask somebody, you know, what brings you to us today, as opposed to going to a different manufacturer, and most people will say, well, you know, I want a car that's good on fuel, it's going to be reliable, and it's going to be pretty easy for me to maintain. And the answer to that is always, well, you've come to the right place. I mean, part of the reasons I came to work for Toyota is just down to the quality of product. I never ever question, you know, a car I might be selling. Yeah, all the way around. I never ever question a car that I might be selling or customer coming in for service, purely because you always know you've got a quality product there. I would definitely say myself, higher than any other brand. So when you're dealing with vehicles like that, our company especially, and the job role working in a Toyota centre, you try and emulate that with the customer experience. So if I've got somebody coming in and they've got their car in for service, whether it's a year-old vehicle or a 20-year-old vehicle, it is always just nice to have conversations with them of you know, how many Toyotas have you had, or how long have you been with the brand? I do tend to find that most people who have got one have had one for a very long time. Good customer of mine, she's in Lexus now, but she's now on her 24th car out of the brand. Wow. And from that, she's been coming to our centre since the late 90s when they opened up there with the previous company. And in the role as well, just going on to the innovation and the sort of curious approach that Toyota take, as far as I'm aware, we're the only manufacturer that actually use the consultant role. So people coming in, speaking to one person rather than two, or one person rather than two whole departments. You've got a point of contact every time.
Well, Harry, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for the chat and keeping me company during this journey. I think we're just pulling up to your dealership, but I've got to speak to Darren, I think.
Darren, service manager.
Darren, service manager. So thank you so much, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Not a problem, been a pleasure.
Great. Darren, it's a pleasure to be here. I've just dropped off Harry, but could you tell me about what a service manager is and what you do?
Basically, I manage the team within the workshop, but also within the actual service area. Look after the service advisor consultants, obviously technicians close to hand. Part of it, I do enjoy being in touch with the actual technicians and in the workshop. I let them get involved with the day-to-day running. Sometimes get a bit too involved. But yeah, I do that. Yeah, that's part of mine.
Can you give me a bit more information about what has been your career up until now?
Yeah, I mean, I started off, I joined Toyota from school as a mechanic.
That's impressive, yeah.
Yeah. And I've worked up through there as a service advisor, team leader, and now onto service manager.
That's a consistent theme, I think, with Toyota that I've established going on this road trip. And actually the training and the support you get is incredible. And I mean, how does that support look like for you? What is your experience with the support Toyota has given?
It's certainly been great through the academy, and I think that's actually improved as time has gone on. Certainly, maybe when I first started, there was the training was there, but maybe it certainly as time has gone on, it's been a vast improvement. Certainly for technicians and consultants as well. Yeah. You know, definitely there is always the training for the academy. Plus, we have our own training as well, on-site training.
Yes, it's constant. When you start at Toyota, you're constantly looked after, and it really goes up. You're a service manager now. That's one of the highest positions here, but you're still getting, looked after.
Absolutely, 100%. There's always training available. Certainly for online e-learning training. I think that's a great thing. That basically that Toyota do the e-learning training. But yeah, there's constant training going on.
Since you're becoming a service manager, how have your team looked after you? What was the impact they've had on you?
I'll do my utmost for them, and I think I'll get that back in return from the whole team, not just the consultants in the office, but the technicians. I've known most of the technicians in there for a very, very long time, and yeah, we have this different special kind of bond, I'd say.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And what experience do you get before the Toyota Academy? When looking at working for Toyota, is there anything that's before the academy that you kind of look at?
We have a close relationship with Norwich College, and we have students who come in on a 6-monthly placement. And one of the guys actually we've got now with us at the moment, he's showing a lot of interest in potentially looking to come on to the apprenticeship scheme. They're on an engineering course at the moment, but he's a good guy. He's actually asking a lot of questions. He's very inquisitive, but he has shown an interest in basically joining us after his college course is finished.
Sounds like you want to poach him slightly.
I would say so, definitely. I have to say, yeah. Look, right from the start, we said to him, "What are your thoughts on if you were interested in were you successful? You liked us and we liked you. Would you be interested in joining us?" And right from the start, he said, "Yeah." He said, "I really would," you know. And I touch base with him every day, every week. He's here, and he's getting on really well. Yeah. So no, he's a nice lad. Yeah, a really nice lad.
And I guess, you know, you mentioned it already, that inquisitivity, that curiosity that people should have working for Toyota, or it's encouraged. And is that something that you guys look out for most in someone, or is it sort of a benefit?
No, I think it's the curiosity of their history. I think definitely a lot of people have certainly young people who come in here are curious about hybrids. There'll be obviously Toyota's journey on EVs, what the future holds, where we're going to be, what we're going to be doing, hydrogen. I think that's a lot of definitely I hear from some of the students or some people who come here for interviews and what they're saying.
And Darren, what about you? What's your goal? What's your vision for your future look like?
Look, continue to do what I'm doing. Try and give it 110%, achieve my targets on a daily, but also to bring more apprentices through the actual development, develop succession planning, and just basically keep the wheels moving as such.
Well, Darren, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. I've got to speak to some technicians now, but thank you.
You're more than welcome.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Dom, George, can you give me a bit of information about, what you do and what the job role is that you currently have?
So I'm now a technician. I was on the apprenticeship for 3 years, just over 3 years because of COVID. So I'm now technician or qualified. So main role at the moment as Team 21 is like more of the general maintenance side of things, little bit of repairs, warranty work sort of thing, like that.
Great. And same thing for you, George? Or?
I'm the newest member in the workshop. I'm a year one apprentice. I started about 6 months ago, and I'm looking to become fully qualified.
Cool. So if you didn't just wake up and become technicians, so what is the kind of education you guys have had throughout the process of being technicians?
So I finished high school, got all my qualifications from that, and then I went on to a technical college. So I got AAA level in engineering. Before I then decided to work my way into the motor trade. That's when I sort of realised that's what I wanted to do, when I was getting hands-on and that's technical and stuff.
Yeah.
Very similar to Dom, I completed all my high school qualifications, moved on to sixth form. Didn't quite find it was for me. It was a different learning style. After a little bit of self-discovery, I ended up stumbling upon this opportunity and I took it, and I've never looked back.
Yeah. And do you guys need qualifications to this job, or is it something that you can just pick up straight after school?
Basically, you just need your good GCSE results. An extra qualification will always help. It'll always obviously look good on your CV, but I believe just to get into it is just good GCSE results.
Yeah. And what training have you guys received since joining Toyota? What has been your experience with that?
The training has been very good. So always up at the academy, there's always someone there to help. So my tutor was always very good with splitting the difference between classroom learning and practical learning. I always find that I learn better on the practical side of things. I'm more of a hands-on sort of learner. We have learning advisors as well. So when you're here, like doing your coursework and stuff like that, if you ever get stuck, they're always just a phone call away, just to sort of give you pointers in the right direction.
I had my first time up at the academy just shy of a month ago. I have to say the facilities there look very promising. I believe I can extract a lot from that.
What is your support like from, I guess, those learning advisors that you're talking about? Do they stay with you, or are they only there, kind of when you need them?
Well, they come over for regular visits. So sometimes that will be either virtual, but most of the time they do come and see you in person. So set up your targets for your next time they come around and see you. So make sure you're always on the mark with your coursework and stuff. And like I said, if you ever do get stuck, they are just a phone call or an email away to help you out.
So when you've finished your apprenticeship, what's your plan? Do you plan to kind of just stay as techs, or what's the plan for that?
I'd like to work up through the tech levels here. First, I'd like the idea of being Pro Tech, Di Tech, Master Tech, working my way through there. because that opens up to more opportunities. In the future, I would eventually like to run my own place, like to have my own business, and I feel like working through technician levels, gaining that masses of experience would be really beneficial.
Much like Dom, I'd like to work my way up through from Team 21 to Master Tech. Eventually, I think my long-term goal would be to work in motorsport, preferably in Le Mans and endurance racing, just to see how those technologies that are being developed in motorsport are now getting crossed over to general road cars.
And so for you guys, how did you apply for the job? What was your process of ending up here?
So I was looking for jobs when I finished my college qualification, but that was during lockdown. So I actually found the Toyota apprenticeship online. So I applied for it there. There was a fairly decent process to sort of go to, because they got to find the right person for the job, looking for qualifications, CV. So I done actual sort of virtual interviews.
Okay. That's perfect. Well, gents, thank you so much for your time. Dom, George, thank you. I'm off to Leeds, so I'll see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks very much for watching. My next leg is up in Leeds. Join me for the next stop on this recruitment road trip. If you're ADHD or dyslexic and actually being given a chance to slot into where your skill set best suits the business as well must be huge.
Kaizen is always trying to be better.
I found more satisfaction in developing people, and that led me down my decision route to enter into leadership.
I've been given so many opportunities. Last year I went to Japan.